How's it going, everyone? It's Adam from Lifeguard. I'm Tam back with a brand new lifeguarding video. And in today's video, I'm gonna be talking about front crawl swimming technique to pass the lifeguarding course, or maybe just to swim in general. I'm gonna be going over the common mistakes people make, which could be the reason why maybe you're not swimming fast enough, or you feel really tired and you're just not moving. And I'll also give you some pointers on how to perfect it so you can swim long distances and swim at a very fast speed. Now, before I dive into this video, if you guys are new to the channel, I make a bunch of lifeguarding tip videos to help pass the lifeguarding course. So I have videos on how to pass the pre-test at the very beginning, how to pass the written exam at the very end, and basically all the tips you need to be a successful lifeguard. So definitely consider subscribing and liking the video if you're new to the channel. So when it comes to front crawl, I usually divide it in two halves. So you have the upper body and the lower body. The lower body needs to be the most consistent of the two. It's the constant thing that's always the same. And what you're doing is you're doing a thing called a flutter kick. And a flutter kick, the big mistake that people make is that they bend their knees too much and they don't have straight legs and pointed toes. So the kick looks like this, right? Except with your feet, you have straight legs together and pointed toes, and you're kind of doing like a rapid fire flutter kick with your feet. And if you bend your knees, this kick not only is not gonna be able to move you through the water as effectively, it's gonna be like super sluggish and clunky looking to the point where like the water's gonna be trapped between like your bent knee, and like you're just gonna be kind of like scraping the water versus like gliding and kind of moving like a boat would. So I recommend that you get into the good habit of just making sure everything's straight and everything's like symmetrical and your toes are pointed and you're kicking consistently. Now the top half is a little bit different because there's a lot of things, there's a lot of elements that go into it, and if one of them isn't correct, then the whole kind of stroke technique kind of gets ruined. So we're gonna start with your hands. If your fingers are apart like this is kind of like a little kid tip, like, oh, you always want to do like the lobster claw with your hands, right? But it actually makes a difference when doing front crawl, because if your hands are kind of spread out like this and your fingers are spread out, the water can go in between your fingers, versus if they're together like this and you're using it to kind of scoop the water, it helps move and it helps trap it, so it kind of pushes you and forces you to glide forward. Now, when it comes to your arms, a lot of people, especially like kind of low to intermediate swim levels, when they do front crawl, they kind of like smack the water with their hands. They don't really go through the water, right? They don't reach in front and go through the water. They kind of just like smack the water and go slap, 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 slap. And what this does is not only just look like horrendous, it makes noise and you're not moving. It's like you're tiring yourself out, the impact of the water on your hand when it's flat. You're not like being efficient where you can kind of trap the water with your fingers and reach through the water and reach through the water, and you combine that with the flutter kicks in the back, you're gonna be gliding, you're gonna be swimming through the water pretty effortlessly. Now when it comes to rotary breathing, like when you do front crawl, obviously your face is in the water, but there's gonna be a time where you have to breathe, and when you breathe is you turn it to the side, and as you turn to the side, this hand kind of goes in like this. It'll be a lot easier if I was in a pool, which I'll probably make videos on this in the future of me actually doing it in water. But basically the most important thing with rotary breathing, especially for me, this is a kind of like a personal tip, is I like to turn to breathe on the same side, because for me, if I like turn to breathe on like different sides, it kind of disorients me. So I get into a pattern of like, okay, every 2 arms I go for a breath, 1, 2, I go for a breath. Or if you don't want to go for that many breaths and you just want to go ham, just like you can keep your face in the water and do a bunch of strokes, but when you get tired, just breathe the same side that you always breathe on. And it'll honestly make you like think about it. Even that like millisecond of you thinking about it and like doing something different, it could slow down your time if you're in a swim race, or it can just another thing to worry about if you're doing the lifeguard pre-test. Now, in order to practice this, I highly recommend that when you go to a pool before the lifeguarding course, or maybe you have access to a pool and you're doing swim team, is that you divide it up. There's things called like kickboards and barbells that you can hold onto with your hands, and so you can just isolate just your bottom half of just doing flutter kicks and keeping your legs straight to really help with that. And if you want help with like the top half, what you can do is you can go to like the shallow end and stand up, or like cross your feet and just basically focus on really just like putting your arms through the water and rotating and breathing at the same time at the same pace. So that'll really help perfect that. Now, if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Peace out.